State Attorney candidate Jay Plotkin spoke at the May meeting of the Northside Business Leaders Organization. The following is his opening statement.
It's really my pleasure to be with you here today. I had the opportunity to speak to the Northside Rotary Club that meets here a couple weeks ago. I'm past president of my Rotary Club in South Jacksonville, and of course I think as most speakers do when they come in, you made the joke about what was for dinner or lunch, and I was glad to see that it wasn't the possum that we were eating for lunch today. But it really is my pleasure to be here. Let me introduce myself to you. My name is Jay Plotkin, and I'm a lifelong resident of this community. And one of the reasons that I'm running to be your state attorney is because it's been my honor to serve you and to serve the residents of Duval, Clay, and Nassau County for the last 21 years. And I look forward to the opportunity to continue to serve. My family is deep-rooted in Jacksonville. My 97-year-old grandmother, who's still with us, graduated from Jackson High School, which of course is not far from here. My grandfather owned K&G Box Company over on Pearl Street. My father used to own City Drug Store, which was also over on Pearl Street, and I remember as a child going to the Jackson High School football game. So it's really a pleasure to spend time with leaders in our business community because this race is extremely important. You know, this is about the future of our community. This is about things that impact you not only in your business lives, but in your family lives. And I believe that I have the credentials and the background that will allow me to continue to make this the best community in the United States, a safer, better community for you and your children, and for me and my children. As I said, I grew up in Jacksonville. I graduated from Wilson High School. I went to the University of Florida twice, both undergrad and law school. When I got out of law school, I was hired by Mark Holsey and went to work for Smith Holsey, a prominent law firm here in town, and spent a year there and had a wonderful experience. But I decided that I wanted to do something more. I wanted to do something different with the gifts that God had given me, and with my legal background, I wanted to continue to serve the community. And I felt the best way to do that was at the state attorney's office. So I was hired in 1987 by Ed Austin, and I've been working there ever since. And each and every day, I spend part of my day really trying to work with the community, as I said, to make this a better place to live. I've done all the things that prosecutors have done throughout my career, prosecuting the misdemeanor cases, prosecuting felony cases. I spent some time specializing in the prosecution of those who physically and sexually abuse our children. And those are really perhaps the most challenging cases that you can try, but certainly the most rewarding. And it was my great pleasure to go into a courtroom and seek justice for children when they've been hurt, they've been placed in situations they don't understand, and they had no reason being there. I spent time addressing those that habitually and chronically break the law, being a division chief of one of our habitual offender divisions. In the last 18 years in our office, some 6,000 defendants have been prosecuted and sentenced as enhanced penalties under Florida law because of their chronic and violent offenses. And I believe as a prosecutor, one of our paramount duties is to be an aggressive prosecutor. We have been, and if I'm honored to serve you, we will continue to be an aggressive prosecuting office as our reputation speaks. I've also, since 1993, had the honor of being in charge of one of the most critically recognized divisions in our office, not only in Florida and the United States, but really worldwide. I've been in charge of our juvenile justice programs. In 1993, we saw a problem with juveniles committing crimes in our community. I was asked to step forward, and I responded to that problem by creating the juvenile justice program in our office. It's been recognized really throughout the world for being an example as to how to handle and how to treat juveniles that are committing violent violations of the law throughout our community. But more importantly, working to keep our children from getting in trouble to begin with. Some of you may remember when 60 Minutes came to cover our juvenile program some time ago. You know, we always joke, usually when Mike Wallace knocks on your door, it's not usually good news, but this was good news. And we were proud of the fact that they put us forward as an example for the rest of the country. What we focus on is both the front end and the back end. We have to keep our kids out of trouble. We have to make sure that our kids are off the street, our kids are in school, they're not breaking into homes, and they're not violating the law. So what we do is we work very closely with our schools, we work with our parents, we work with our faith communities, we work with our neighborhood associations to give kids things to do to make sure that they are staying out of trouble. We are very heavily involved in keeping our children in school. You may recall a couple of weeks ago when some 25 parents were arrested in Duval Clay in Nassau County for not sending their kids to school. That was a program out of our office. That was parents who have a 7-year-old who they don't send to school. That was parents who were sleeping in while their 9-year-old is home watching the 6-year-old. And despite efforts to get those children in school by the school system in our office, the parents refused to cooperate. And we believe that the right thing to do is to tell those parents, if you aren't going to do your job, you're going to pay the price. Because if a child isn't in school, what are they doing? Number one, they're not getting an education. And number two, if they're inclined to get in trouble, what they're doing is breaking into your house because you're at work. And we've seen, since we've concentrated on truancy prevention, home burglaries have gone down. Since 1999, in addition to running that juvenile program, and by the way, as part of that juvenile program, not only are we working on the front end, but we work on the deep end. We have prosecuted, I've made that decision personally, 2,700 juvenile cases since 1993 as adults in this community. These are kids who chronically and violently break the law, and they must know their consequences of their behavior. Since 1999, I have been your Chief Assistant State Attorney. And I believe this is really what distinguishes me in this race. I'm the only candidate who has simultaneously run the office. And let me tell you about our office. We are Duval, Clay, and Nassau County. We are the largest law firm in Northeast Florida. We have 100 lawyers, some 270 support staff, a $24 million budget, of course covering all 3 counties, Duval, Clay, and Nassau. Every single day since I've been Chief Assistant, I've been working on that $24 million budget. I've been administering every aspect of our office, from deciding and working towards which cases will get the death penalty, to working with our non-lawyer supervisors, working with those that are running our investigative staff, our paralegal staff, our secretarial staff. In addition to making these administrative decisions, which are critically important, especially in these tough fiscal times, I'm personally prosecuting tough and significant cases. And I'm the only candidate who has administered the office on a daily basis while also being a trial lawyer. I've tried some 90 jury trials. I've been there. I've represented victims in the courtroom, being their voice when they're placed in situations that they never expected to be. I've had the honor of bringing justice to families that have had their lives turned upside down. And that is one of the most rewarding parts of being a prosecutor, the ability to go in a courtroom and be a voice for those who never expected to be there. When I went to the courtroom recently in my most recent trials and spoke of Reggie and Carol Sumner, who were buried alive in Georgia after being abducted from their St. Nicholas home, that was something that I felt that I was there to do at that time. I was there to take my talent, my skill, and my professionalism and bring justice to that family. And it's been my honor to do that for the last 21 years. As a prosecutor, I can tell you that I have and will continue to work extremely closely with law enforcement. There are those that are in the Florida State Prison for the rest of their life for shooting police officers that I prosecuted. There are those that are on death row that I prosecuted. And the only way that you achieve these results is to have a relationship with law enforcement that enables you to work together, to work closely, to get the job done. I will tell you, however, that there is a difference in the role of what a prosecutor does and what a police officer does. My client, as an assistant state attorney, is you, the people of the state of Florida. I have to go into court every day and make decisions based on law, based on facts, based on experience, based on justice, based on doing the right thing. If a police officer makes a mistake, I need to tell him that. If a case should not be prosecuted, I need to make that decision. We have and always will be an aggressive state attorney's office. There are 48 people on death row out of the city of Jacksonville, the 4th Circuit, more than any other place in the state of Florida. That's not per capita, that's raw numbers. Those are not numbers you should be proud of. If there were 0 people on death row, there would be that many less victims of homicide. But it tells you that we are an aggressive prosecuting agency. When we need to do what we need to do, we do it with professionalism, we do it with integrity, and we get the job done. But our job is to make the right decision on any given facts during any given circumstances, not based on popularity, not based on politics, but based on representing you, our client, the people of the state of Florida, and serving justice. It's been my honor to lead everybody in this office
And I would ask you that if I'm given the opportunity to serve, that you give me the honor of continuing to serve so I can make this a better community for your family